I'm Anthony Day. This is a special edition of the Sustainable Futures Report for Wednesday, the 7th of December 2022.
Barclays do not tell their customers about their investments.
Barclays Bank have invested £122 billion in fossil fuels since the Paris Agreement.
Barclays are one of the biggest investors in the world's plastic producers.
In April 2021, 7 women took hammers and chisels to the office of Barclays Bank in Canary Wharf, London, and cracked the glass panels of the facade. They put up posters saying, "In case of climate emergency, break glass." Then they waited to be arrested.
In the UK, Barclays are the biggest fossil fuel funders in Europe, and Barclays are the number 7th bank in the whole world for fossil fuel lending.
I took this action because laws are a social construct and the law hasn't caught up with climate change yet. It's Barclays that really need to be prosecuted.
All 7 appeared in court this week. All 7 were found guilty of criminal damage. One of those arrested was Zoe Cohen. Zoe, good morning. You spoke to us on the Sustainable Futures Report just a month ago. And the latest news is that you were one of the Barclays 7. You were arrested for criminal damage and the verdict has just been handed down. Tell us more.
Yeah, thanks, Anthony. Good morning. Yeah, so me and my 6 co-defendants, the 7 of us, have been through a 2-week jury trial at Southwark Crown Court in London. Yeah, it started more than 2 weeks ago and concluded on Monday. And gosh, it's quite hard to summarise what has been an incredible rollercoaster of an experience, Anthony, into a few minutes. I guess what's really important to get across is if I own this personally, I do this because it's the right thing to do. I believe no different than the day on the 7th of April 2021 when I carefully cracked one of those panes of glass and my colleagues carefully cracked other panes of glass. I still believe exactly that I did the right thing.
Let's just backtrack on that, shall we? You smashed the windows at Barclays headquarters in Canary Wharf.
A slight correction there, Anthony. We didn't smash anything, sweetheart. We very carefully cracked. There was no smashing, no glass fell away, no one was hurt, and we planned it incredibly carefully to not hurt anyone.
Okay.
No passers-by, no staff, not ourselves. So there were cracks made. If you watch the video, it's cracks. There's no smashing.
Right, so it's non-violent protest, I suppose we can say.
It's absolutely non-violent.
What's your issue with Barclays?
Barclays are the biggest fossil fuel funder in Europe and the 7th biggest in the world. When at the time that we did our action, they'd put $144 billion into fossil fuels since the Paris Agreement. So just let that sink in. Not only that, but for me also it was very much about not just fossil fuels, but also the fact that I was very much aware of reports by an organisation called Portfolio Earth that had identified Barclays as I think the 4th biggest plastics funder globally, and also one of the biggest funders of catastrophic habitat destruction and therefore extinction. I was also aware that Barclays are one of the lenders for the big meat producers in the Amazon who are undertaking illegal deforestation or colluding with illegal deforestation. So effectively, Barclays and other banks like them are pushing the Amazon over its tipping point, as we know. And also, Barclays are also perpetrating crimes against Indigenous people in terms of things like Line 3. So, the list goes on, frankly. The list goes on, but yeah.
What do you want Barclays to do? And what do you think that they will do if you crack their windows?
Well, they need to accept the truth and tell the truth about their activities and change their ways, make different decisions, accept that they are part of nature like we are part of nature, make different decisions and end the harm that they're causing and turn their vast resources, vast wealth, vast power, vast reputation, blah, 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 to repair the harm and to turn humanity in a different direction. They're one of the big global banks. They could help change the tide, and they're choosing not to.
Right, so we are now at the situation where you've carried out your protest, you were arrested, you came to court, as you said, the verdict came out this week, you're guilty. You'll be sentenced in January. When you come to sentencing next month, what do you expect the consequences to be?
Well, the Crown Prosecution Service has deemed what we did to be in a certain category. That means that we face sentencing which goes up to an 18-month prison sentence. I would imagine it's quite likely that at least some of us will be spending some time in prison. I mean, right now there are 27 ordinary citizens of the UK in UK prisons for taking peaceful action to demand proportionate climate action from our government, and we will potentially just be adding to that number. Don't forget, UK is Barclays is a major UK bank. It has 24 million retail customers. It's the largest retail bank in the UK. You know, if you're listening to this and you bank with Barclays, or your business banks with Barclays, or your family banks with Barclays, you know, your bank is doing its utmost to destroy your future and your family's future, and most people don't realise that. I'm ready to take the consequences. I'm accountable for my actions, as are my co-defendants.
If you're sent to prison, will you protest again when you come out?
Again, I have a moral obligation to live in truth, as I see it, to keep speaking the truth and doing my utmost to align my actual actions to that truth. I don't intend to stop being in civil resistance. I don't know what that'll look like. Who knows? Because what does the future hold? But I can't stop speaking the truth, and I can't stop resisting and supporting the resistance against this system. And ultimately, Anthony, what's really obvious, not only is the legal system incapable of protecting us and our children, that's incredibly obvious to me, especially given what I've been through in the last 2 weeks, but also we need many, many more people to step up into resistance. You know, I still believe change in direction for humanity is possible. You know, we are an amazing species. We're capable of incredible, beautiful things when we act from empathy and compassion and love. All three words is what I wrote on my hammer before I did the action. But in order to act from empathy, compassion and love, we have to step into civil resistance, and many, many more thousands of us need to do that to non-violently get those in power to change their decisions and change their direction.
Well, thank you for sharing this with us, Zoe. All we can do now is wish you a happy Christmas, because at least you're out of prison for Christmas. And we will be watching what happens on the 27th of January. And maybe we'll talk to you again at that time. But that will very much depend on what the sentence is, I think.
Thank you, Anthony. And I wish yourself and any listeners a happy festive season, winter festival, whatever it is you celebrate, or any religion or none. And please don't buy Christmas presents and buy stuff people don't need. Please donate the money to useful causes, including Extinction Rebellion and Just Stop Oil. Support the resistance, because, boy, we need to.
Thank you, Zoe. Thank you. That was a special episode of the Sustainable Futures Report. I'm Anthony Day. I'll be back on or just after the 27th of January to follow up on that case. But of course, the Sustainable Futures Report comes out every week. There is an episode out today with the Material Library of India, and there's a new episode every week. So don't miss out. The Sustainable Futures Report, you can find the texts of all these reports on the website sustainablefutures.report, and you can find out how to become a patron at Patreon, patreon.com/SFR. I'm Anthony Day. Until next week.